While the Internet of Things is changing our everyday lives, digital inequality can also create new social issues. Nokia is an innovative global leader in 5G, creating the technology to connect the world. Wireless 5G networks provide internet not only for remote locations, but enables constant connectivity and completely new possibilities for IoT solutions.
Internet is a prime example of scientific discoveries and technologies coming together. But the question who invented Internet is still open, and it's very hard to reply to. But you tried it anyway.
Yes, I thought it was interesting to look at the Internet in a broader context. A lot of people think it's the World Wide Web formalism and the protocols like TCP/IP that underlie the Internet. Or Ethernet, for example, like Bob Metcalfe's work. But I actually think it's much more than that, and not to recognize that, I think, devalues the great work done by many, many technologists that create the composite that's the Internet. So it goes all the way from digital technologies, the transistor, the CCD camera that sort of is the way we capture all those images that we share over the Internet now. A lot of the compute infrastructure, cloud computing, networking infrastructure, cellular infrastructure, of course, mobile phone technology, all the way up to the applications, I think is what I would consider the Internet as we know it today. And so I looked at that and then estimated who had done the most to invent the Internet. And actually, it turns out that, by my calculation, maybe somewhat fortuitously, Nokia Bell Labs actually had invented 24% of the Internet. And many other companies contributed, but it was a foundational piece of innovation coming from Nokia and Bell Labs, which it now owns. And I think it's a very interesting thing to recognize that these large multinational companies that perhaps are always viewed as a little bit less innovative these days, but in fact they are the foundation of the thing that we think is the most innovative thing humankind has done recently, which is to create the Internet. And I think that'll continue going forward as we look at the industrial Internet age.
But would you agree that we're still in the very early phases of Internet?
Yes, I would. I mean, if you look at what the Internet currently does, it globally connects people, all but the underconnected, and we have to finish that piece. And there are lots of interesting technologies emerging to allow global coverage from satellites and balloons and low-altitude aircraft. But beyond that, we actually use it for relatively trivial things. I like to make a bit of fun and say we use it for watching cat videos. And I think, we have to use it for more than that. And yes, people say we use it for access to information. You don't have to go to the physical library anymore. You can get access to information. That's true, but we haven't actually used that information for a profoundly different way of living, at least not one that increases human well-being.
Also, one of the interesting things about Internet that it gains speed all the time. And there's another leap coming when we move into 5G, especially in mobile technology.
The Internet was started as a wired endeavor. You bought a DSL service or a cable modem service. And that was relatively easier to do because the wires guide the signal in a structured way. But to do that over wireless infrastructure has been very challenging. So we're only just catching up to the wired levels of capacity. But that's really exciting because if we can get gigabits per second over wireless infrastructure, you can have the Internet everywhere, which means you can sense everything, you can do anything, and you don't have to drag a wire around with you.
And those are unbelievable data sources, and especially connected with AI, then probably there will be a new revolution of some kind that we can't even imagine yet.
I agree. AI is going to be a critical part of this because the problem with all that data, if we feel today we're overwhelmed by the amount of information that is bombarding us, whether it's through social media or digital media in general, or email, communication media, we're overwhelmed by a massive amount of information that strikes us and we can't process. So imagine now I connect every entity in the physical world, every building, every room, every piece of physical infrastructure is connected. Then what am I going to do with that? I can't possibly process it. So AI comes in as a new type of machine that actually will, it's a computing machine or paradigm that will allow us to understand the physical world, make sense of it, and then summarize it for us. So the human will be a critical part of the way we interact still, because it is still a human world we're talking about. But AI comes to the rescue of the massive amount of data, processing it for us and presenting to us just what we need to know, and then we'll interact with that and choose what are the outcomes we want to pursue. So we will still be an important part of that paradigm, but AI will be our sort of computing assistant, so that we can make more intelligent decisions and make better choices and have better outcomes.
What do you see in the future of industrial internet?
Physical tasks are relatively hard for machines to do, particularly the bespoke human manipulations and that involve humans interacting with the physical world. Machines are not very good at replicating those. So in fact, the physical tasks will remain human. Some of the middle management tasks or data analysis tasks will be done by AI systems, but on a massive amount of data. So you could say it will take over the unfathomable, the impossible tasks that humans can't reasonably do, make sense of it, and then a human will be there as the analyst to decide what outcome is the appropriate outcome. So I think that's the industrial internet. But so it's everything will be more efficient in terms of how it operates and what good it produces and how quickly it does it, which is quite exciting. And it does mean vehicles will come to you exactly when you want them, whether they are autonomous or they are person-assisted. You will have perfect transportation, you'll have perfect physical goods delivery. I think machines predicting outcomes is a very good use of machines, or AI machines. Of course, we've used machines historically for physical tasks where we needed mechanical advantage or speed, so transportation vehicles. But I think going forward, we'll use computing machines to predict outcomes. We are very good at observing the physical world, but only within our personal experience. So that's how we all learn to live and work and interact. We're not good at understanding the physical world beyond our knowledge. And so I think machines will assist by doing some advanced pattern recognition.
If we talk about 5G, does that present an opportunity for developing countries especially? Because, I mean, it's in developed and industrial countries is a phase change, but that probably brings more people into global community.
I think 5G does. Obviously, you need to build some sort of infrastructure, but the good news is that's being built. And it will be assisted in 5G. There's a thing called NTN. Wireless standards love to create acronyms.
Yes.
NTN means non-terrestrial networks. So you won't have to do it all in the laying of fiber in the ground and powering locally. There will be an enhanced capacity in balloons and low-altitude aircraft and satellites. It won't be quite as good as the terrestrial network, but it is a way to get global coverage immediately, and that's part of the 5G spec. But the nice part of some of the 5G technologies is they allow you to go a little bit further. So some of the 5G specs allow you to go longer distances, and they use beamforming techniques so you get more capacities. So I think it's going to take advantage of the commoditization of technology, and it's going to bring enough techniques that allow you to do enhanced processing and very clever wireless technologies to do beamforming and advanced connectivity. So people will be more connected than they ever have been before globally. Nokia got involved in the Millennium Technology Prize, not just because we're a Finnish company, but actually because we're fundamentally a technology company, a technology innovation company that created the foundational technologies for the internet, as we said earlier. And so, yes, we've won many Nobel Prizes in Bell Labs. Those are for the science. But of course, the science is only in the end interesting if it gets turned into technology that gets consumed by humans and changes human existence. So we very much like the idea of recognizing technological advancement. And the Millennium Technology Prize does that. And much as we love our Nobel Prizes, the Millennium Technology Prize is really cutting edge, and we love to support that both as a Finnish endeavor, as a human endeavor as well.